John Era here with AintItCool.com, talking today about Arnold Schwarzenegger's latest film, The Last Stand. And I know it's a cliche, but it's one of those movies where you just gotta turn your brain off. Like, just flip the switch and I like explosions, big guns The story's pretty simple. We have a runaway convict who is in this souped up, I think it's a Corvette, driving like 200 miles an hour down this path of highway trying to cross the border into Mexico. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is the sheriff of a small town, and this town is the last place for the bad guy to cross over into Mexico. And if Arnold doesn't stop him, this guy's getting away. The good things about the film, well, Arnie's back. And it's really nice to see him in a film where he's working hard, he's trying, he's doing new things. We're not getting any of the old cliches. Like back in Expendables 2, it seemed like every other word out of his mouth was a retread from something he'd said in the 80s.
What was down? I'll be back. You've been back enough.
There are no worn out cliches here. Instead, he's trying to build some new cliches, most of which don't work. I can't think of a single one that's quotable or memorable, but dude's trying. Another thing I like, there's some great bloody explosions, shootouts. One battle in particular in which a ragtag bunch of townsfolk band together to take on an armed militia of bad guys who are trying to pave the way for this bad guy to get through the small town. It's bloody, the shootout, it's really fun to watch, and there are some great deaths in this one particular 10-minute stretch of the movie more towards the end. Also, it has a kind of a nice Western vibe with Arnie being the sheriff, very, very high noonish in its approach to the subject matter. Plus, we get to see South Korean director jee-woon work with an American budget, which is pretty exciting. The technical aspects of the film work really well. There are certain little scenes here and there that have a real nice aesthetic panache to them. This guy is a hell of a director. If you haven't seen I Saw the Devil, The Good, the Bad, the Weird, he's really a director that's worth a watch and does some really interesting things. Unfortunately, jee-woon doesn't speak English very well, and that's one of the big downsides to this film. The dialogue is awful. There are laughable moments that aren't supposed to be funny at all, where the actors are just saying this really awful, generic dialogue, and you don't know how else to take it but laugh, and it's really inappropriate to laugh in the theater while people are dying, and we're getting these big emotional scenes, but the dialogue is really, really awful. And of course, Arnold, I mean, he doesn't speak English all that well himself.
Get to the chopper!
When he's, saying, that son of a bitch, it's supposed to be dramatic, comes off laughable, and yeah, that's, I felt bad laughing at Arnold in some of these scenes. Another thing that just drove me crazy, some of the action scenes are just dumb. Dumb. For instance, there's a scene where we have these two police officers armed with handguns. They're taking on this squad of bad guys. They all have automatic weapons. It's at night. All the bad guys have night vision goggles on. Our two heroes are terribly outmatched. They're about to get killed, and then here comes Arnold in a police SUV with the lights blazing, and they're like, oh crap! Where'd this guy come from, armed with a shotgun? Retreat! We gotta get out of here. Like, it didn't make any sense. Why would they be scared of Arnold in a SUV? And why would that surprise them? They have night vision goggles on. Dude has lights going. Like, it just didn't make any sense, and it drove me absolutely crazy. Also, like, the super Corvette, the supercar that the bad guy is driving, can somehow run these heavily armored SWAT SUVs off the road. I thought, like, Corvettes are like fiberglass. The thing goes 200 miles per hour and can run cars off. It's dumb. And finally, the last battle that takes place between Arnold and the big bad guy, it takes place outside on a bridge overlooking a ravine in the desert. And for some reason, the whole scene, the whole background of the scene is CG'd. Drove me nuts. Drove me absolutely nuts. So overall, we've got our old Arnold back. Again, he's older, a little bit longer in the tooth.
How are you, Sheriff?
Old.
But we've got him back and he's working hard and he's trying to put out good movies for us. Unfortunately, even with an amazing South Korean director who does amazing work, the action scenes for the most part don't hold up very well and are pretty dumb, and the dialogue is awful. But those are just my thoughts about The Last Stand. What are yours? Leave your comments below and keep checking in with ainitcool.com for more news and reviews. I'm John Airy.